Nobody is talking about this as one Flames rookie is having an insane season and is starting to make some noise about winning the Calder Trophy. Plus, the Flames are just outside of the last wildcard spot. We're going to break all this stuff down for you guys coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 91% of you guys watching this video aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed, you want to stay up on the latest happenings around the NHL and heading into a busy offseason and an exciting playoffs, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But before we get into the rookie who is having a dominant season, we got to talk about where the Flames are at as it stands today. Last night, beating the San Jose Sharks 5-2, keeping their playoff hopes alive. They went in 3 points back of the St. Louis Blues last night, and now they are only 2 points back. And as per Elliot Friedman here, a big NHL insider, he says that the Wild, Blues and Flames all play Tuesday night, so this could all be decided as soon as tomorrow as I'm recording this video. Obviously, they say the Wild need a point versus the Ducks to clinch. The Blues need a regulation win against Utah to clinch, but the Flames need to beat Vegas and get some help from the other teams as they do lose some games to get into this playoffs. And Calgary has been hot as of late. They've only really lost in overtime their last 5 games, and they've been on a little bit of a win streak here, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they have been doing that. They've been getting a lot of help from their big guys like Huberdeau and Kadri and Connor Zary, a guy who's having a decent season for them as well, and obviously getting help from Mackenzie Weegar and Anderson on the back end has really helped propel this team into where they are today. And just last week, a lot of people gave the Flames no fighting chance at all, and they kind of took this to heart and they just went on a little bit of a heater, and they're only 2 points out of a playoff spot right now. If we just take a look at the standings, they do have 92 points and they do have a game in hand on both teams. So if St. Louis does lose on Tuesday night, that will be their season completely over at 94 points, and that means the Flames have 2 games remaining. If they can win both of those games and St. Louis does lose, they will get into the playoffs this year. And also, with the Minnesota Wild, if they lose in their final game of the season, this means that the Calgary Flames, waiting 2 games, will bump them up into the playoff spot. So a lot of things do have to go right for the Calgary Flames here. They really need to be hot going down the last 2 games of the season to get into this playoffs. But the way this team has been lately, they looked very good against the San Jose Sharks last night. It looked like a lot of their offense was clicking, and obviously a guy we're going to talk about in a bit has been helping them out in the crease. And this team has been good, and I could definitely see a world where the Calgary Flames do sneak into this playoff spot, and I think it would be very deserving for this team. Obviously, St. Louis had a really big win streak, which a lot of people thought, hey, that ends Calgary's hopes now, but that is not the case. And going into their final 2 games of the season, it is going to be a tough matchup because they go up against Vegas, who is a hot team, and they have a lot of great talent there, but the Calgary Flames, I think they only played them last week or so like that, and they lost in overtime, so they have had tight, close games with this team recently, so there's no reason that they couldn't go out and win this game. And obviously, LA, a team that is already in the playoffs, it's going to be a tough matchup against them. They got 2 very tough matchups for the final 2 games of the season, but I do think if they bring their A game and they bring that heart that they want to get into the playoffs, that this team could definitely do it and definitely sneak into that last wild card. What do you think? Are the playoff hopes still alive for Calgary Flames? What do you think, Flames fans? Are you guys going to get in? Let me know down below in the comment section. But we got to get into the rookie who is having an insane season for this team, and Flames fans have probably guessed who we're talking about by now, and that is right. Dustin Wolf has been such a key contributor to this Calgary Flames team this season and has really, I would say, led the way and paved the way to their success here later in the season and trying to get into a playoff spot. This guy has been on fire, becoming one of the having one of the most wins by USA-born rookie goaltender, having 36 wins. This isn't 70 games over his last 3 years in the NHL, but this is technically his rookie season at this point, just becoming a full-time NHL starter. Puts him up there with some great names like jumping Ryan Miller here, Nedeljkovic, a guy who's been a solid goalie as well, John Gibson, Jimmy Howard, obviously a great list of USA goaltenders right there, and Dustin Wolf putting his name up there with some elite company, just showing how good of a goaltender he has been so early on in his career. It is so great to see. I think this guy, I've always been very high on him. One of my best friends is a Calgary Flames fan, and he put me onto him early, and ever since he was in the AHL with the Wranglers, this guy was an absolute beast, and it was only a matter of time before I figured he would be a full-time starter and being a successful one at that, and we've seen that from Dustin Wolf really leading this team this year. If we just take a look at his stats, just this season in 52 games, he does have 28 wins, 16 losses, with 8 losses coming in overtime. 3 shutouts as well. Before this in his career, he never had any shutouts. He's got all of his shutouts this year, 3 of them on the books. Great season from this guy. 2.62 GAA is not too shabby for a rookie goaltender as well, I might add, and a 910 save percentage, and obviously you see the saves there. He's up over 1,300 saves at this point. Dustin Wolf has been nothing short of phenomenal for this team this year, and it's just so great to see a guy of his caliber kind of come up from the AHL, make waves when he's got his first couple of starts the last 2 seasons, but now coming up where a lot of Flames fans were excited to see him through a full 82, and we've seen that, and he's been so successful at that. Putting up a 9-10 in your first full season and as an NHL starter is a hard feat, especially in the West, especially in their conference where it's been a very hard-fought battle this year, and I think this guy is definitely making some noise around the Calder vote. There's no doubt about that. There was a lot of people, especially Calgary Flames fans, saying, hey, there is no rookie that's been more valuable to their team than Dustin Wolf this season, and if we're going to go off of that, it's definitely going to be off of Dustin Wolf because he's been such a good contributor for this team. But as a Montreal fan, I kind of want to plead the case for Lane Hutson here. I think he has been very valuable to the Montreal Canadiens, and I think he's a big reason to why they are in a playoff spot at this point in time too. But if Dustin Wolf does lead this team into the playoffs, you can make the same argument for both, and I do really think that when the Calder comes down to it, it is going to be a tough because there are so many great rookies like Michkov and Celebrini and Hudson and now Dustin Wolf. 4 of these guys have had such a great rookie season, and it could really go to either one of them. I think Dustin Wolf is definitely deserving. There's no doubt about that. But I think just the stuff that Hudson is doing as a defenseman is going to lead voters to his towards his way a little bit more. But definitely a standout guy, and he's definitely making some noise around that trophy, and it's definitely a deserving one. And if we just keep moving forward here, in his last, 5-6 game sample size for the Calgary Flames, like I've said, they've only lost in overtime with him in the crease. He's won a lot of those games, has had some high save percentage games, he's had some low to mid 800 save percentage games, but they have won those games. So he has been hot as of late, picking up a lot of wins, only losing in overtime, which is going to lead to the Winnipeg Jets, to the Calgary Flames' success here down the stretch. I think now with these 2 games left, Dustin Wolf is going to be on his A game. There's no doubt about it. I think this guy wants the playoffs more than anybody else on this team, and without him in the net this season, the Calgary Flames do not get as far as they are right now, and I think this is such a good sign for the future of the Calgary Flames, and I think Flames fans, even if you do not make the playoffs this year, you have to be excited about who you have in the crease, and you have to be excited about the future of your team. I know it is kind of up in the air, because you have a lot of older guys like Kadri and Huberdeau, but I think there is something there. You have a great defense prospect coming up in Zane Perrick. It is going to be a fun time to be a Calgary Flames fan over these next couple of seasons, and I really do hope that you guys do sneak into the playoffs, because another Canadian team in the playoffs can't hurt. Hey, I really want to see one bring it back to Canada, and hopefully the Flames can sneak in there. But as I said, he is the big reason why they have gotten to the playoffs. Kadri and Huberdeau both having, subpar seasons, I would say, for Huberdeau. I mean, We've seen him be a 100-point scorer at some points in his career. I think Kadri has really led this team with his goal scoring and leading the team with 32 goals. And I think if these guys do get into the playoffs, I do think they will catch a heater, especially Huberdeau. I think getting him back into tasting the playoffs will really click him into another gear and stuff like that. But I think when you look at the point totals, it's been very evenly distributed through this entire Calgary Flames team this season. Mackenzie Weegar leading the team with 38 assists has been a very great quarterback to this offense back there for the defense at times, and I really do hope that Calgary does pull it together here and get into the playoffs. And if they do, I think they have all of it to pat on the back of Dustin Wolf. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think Dustin Wolf is deserving of the Calder? Do you think that this Calgary Flames team will make the playoffs? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to down below leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road for 13,000 subscribers here, so if you're not subscribed already, make sure down below hit that subscribe button. If you want to check out a video we did the other day talking about all the other rookies in the NHL, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host KC. We'll catch you in the next one.